Hey, welcome to the Paris à Lagos. Here we talk about any topics or news related to the Black community around the world.
After all this, while we are on board for the first flight of the Paris Lagos in English, there is so much things going on around the world this month. But relax, we will get to our destination. This is Kobia, your pilot, and I am with Mrs. Oi, my co-pilot. Hey, Mrs. Oi,
Hello, Kobia.
what is the itinerary today?
Like usual, we will take off from Paris and land in Lagos. We will fly over some cities and countries, and we will make a landing in others.
Oh, good. And what are we talking about today?
So today we are going to focus on the Twitter gate, Niger versus Ghana.
All right. In other words, is the Twitter war the new Jollof war?
I'm telling you the new version of Ghana Jollof and Niger Jollof.
All right, the Paris Lagos first edition, English edition to all passengers, immediate takeoff.
Okay, so let's start. Just to do a quick introduction for who didn't follow the Twitter gate, the new Twitter gate between Nigeria and Ghana. So recently, Twitter has announced that Ghana is going to be the headquarters for the West Africa region. So the topic of today is why Twitter prefer Ghana over Nigeria, because I mean everybody knows Nigeria is the giant of Africa, giant this, giant that. So let's just step into the topic, and we want to start with the good points about Nigeria. Why Nigeria make us pride Africans.
Okay, but before talking about the positive points, maybe we should talk about the reason. No, not the reason why, but why Jack Dorsey, the move of Jack Dorsey, because he's the founder of CEO of he's the founder and CEO of Twitter, right? And he announced that he was going to move to Ghana, and then it created some whole lot of controversy on Twitter. And meanwhile, he had made some trip back in November 2019 to Ghana, in Ghana, Ethiopia, Nigeria, and South Africa. You know,
Yes.
and yes, and during all this time, he was making his inventory. He was checking the ground, in other words. So it was after that he made this announcement on Twitter, thanking Nana Akufo-Addo that he was basically setting his headquarters in Ghana. So that's what made people like blast him in other way, saying that they don't understand because Nigeria is the one of the like big hub in Africa concerning the tech the tech ground. So on the population, concerning the positive points, yeah, Nigeria has 201 million. So yeah, on the first view, people were like, if you're going to implement your company in Africa, obviously you are going to choose the one who has the biggest population impact. But obviously, Jack Dorsey doesn't have our mind. His brain is different from ours, so he didn't make the same move that we were expecting him to make, and he chose Ghana. Concerning the economic side, Nigeria has the biggest economy. Is the 27th rank in terms of GDP. You see, and the GDP growth is 2.3%. This is the figures of 2019, and is also the first economy in Africa. So taking all this into consideration, people were shocked that Twitter decided not to go in Nigeria because it's obvious when you look at all these figures. You see.
Mhm. Exactly. I mean, the figures, they speak on their own. I mean, if you can say that, just based on the figures, he should have taken Nigeria. But there are also other reasons that we think he could have
Hmm.
taken Nigeria. We say
Yeah.
could. So one of the other reason is also, Nigeria as the. I mean, we think that Nigeria has some of the best businessmen and women in Africa. They have a huge business mind. Nigerians people are really business oriented, and we can see it through all the icons. I mean, most of the richest men or
Mhm.
women, I mean, business people in Africa are from Nigeria. Let's just say, let's start with the biggest one. Our richest black person in the world is Aliko Dangote, and this man is from Nigeria. Then we have people like Adenuga or Otedola. They're also part of the richest men in Africa. So, and all these people, they create, a dynamic economic and business environment, which is also very positive and yes, dynamic, and we think that this environment can also benefit to trader, but it seems that it wasn't enough. Um, just to stay on this line of business and creating wealth, Nigeria is also is one of these rare countries in Africa that they have been able to develop some industries that we don't see in the other. I mean, in most part of the continent, like Nollywood. Nigeria is one of the rare countries in Africa that has a real, cinema industries. It's been now many years that Nollywood is able to generate more than $1 billion a year of revenue, which is big because Nollywood doesn't get any support from the state like we can see in France or even in the US. It has been built from scratch by only individuals. So
Mhm.
shout out to them. We can also look at the finance industry, and specifically the banking industries. Nigeria is like some few countries on the African continent that they have over 10 indigenous, oh yes, about between 10 and 15 indigenous banks. And they're the one leading in the countries. I mean, the biggest bank in Nigeria, that Chiti Bank, that Zenith, that BUA, and the owners are Nigerians, man. So we can go ahead with the telecom. So we were mentioning Adenuga. Adenuga is the owner of Glo. Glo is the main competitor of MTN in Nigeria, just to tell you. And
Mhm.
Glo is one of the biggest telecom company in Africa. I think it's the second one. I'm not sure, so I won't emphasize on this information, but it's still one of the biggest. And the tech, of course. I mean, there are so many Likon coming from Nigeria. Every nowadays we hear, oh, this Nigerian company, I got this investment from any company. I mean, a company in the US. Now it was 200 million, $300 million, and all of that. So for all these reasons, we thought that all the reasons that you have mentioned, Kobe and me, Nigeria could have been easily the first. I mean, the first choice of Twitter, but no, and no for many reasons that Kobia is going to introduce now.
All right, and just to mention a point when you said concerning Nollywood, yeah, the first Nollywood film that was created was called Living in Bondage, and it was made by a man called Chris Obi Repu, and that guy, yeah, it came out in 1992,
Mm-hmm.
and he put like 100 no, not $100,000 in the creation of this film, and he had 10 times what he put on. So he was the
Wow.
first creator of the film, and it came out on VHS, and that makes the country proud of the creation, notably. So yeah, let's go. Let's come back to the negative points, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we've mentioned about the positive points. They're all good. They make us proud of Nigeria. But on the other hand, you have some different points, topics that doesn't benefit the image of Nigeria. You have one economy. Uh, the economy is based on oil. Oil, that means the total GDP creation of Nigeria is basically based on oil. Today, if you remove oil from the economy of Nigeria, it will create a huge impact and repercussion on Nigeria's economy. So that's the first thing, and the second thing is concerns the freedom of speech, because the freedom of speech, the listing of the freedom of speech of Nigeria is 116 over 200 countries, basically. So it is not well established. Like just to compare, Ghana is the 13th occupies the 13th position. So maybe these are some negative points that a company would think of before coming to in a country. And we're talking about Twitter. Twitter is a tech company which is based in the freedom of speech.
Exactly.
So they need it to in order to implement their whole technical strategy. And I remember in China a few years ago, Twitter had a little controversy in that domain because the Communist Party wanted to shut down some accounts, and Twitter, in order to go in hand with the government, they they did so. So people were saying, no, if Twitter should be an advocacy of democracy, they shouldn't go hand in hand with such regime. So I think that's what
Mm.
Twitter like think of before even making any move. So these are the negative points that I think of. And yeah, let me come back to another thing when I mentioned the mono economy that Nigeria has. It has many inflation also, and the IDE is not for that point, entre parenthèses, l'IDE il est en hausse, il est en baisse. C'est en baisse
L'indice
normalement.
je sais pas.
Ok,
J'ai pas le
je vais pas
chiffre.
vérifier celui-là. Ok, so I think the IDE should be down, but this one we will verify later. So the second argument is that Nigeria is incapable of responding to basic needs. That means electrical access to electricity,
Yes,
uh,
power.
and power. Yeah, electrical power and water. So if a country wants to be an example for other people, it should be able to give access to electricity, because the oil that generates electrical power isn't met enough. So the population is always inclined to itself, and they are always putting money in other expenses that they shouldn't do, and that creates a huge gap of inequality in the country for the middle class and for the poorest classes as well.
Exactly. I mean, for all these reasons, we can, I think from now, from all these reasons, we can understand why Twitter prefer Ghana over Nigeria, but they're not they're not the only one. There are also the inequalities that are just huge in Nigeria. As we have mentioned earlier, we have tycoons. We have among Nigerians, among Nigerians, we have the richest Black people in the world. I don't know if you guys realize it's crazy, but at the same time, in Nigeria, we also have the poorest people in the world. So these two range, these two categories, they live in the same country. And how come? How is possible? In 2018, it has been predicted that Nigeria has taken the place of India as the capital of the poverty in the world, and that study even said that this will remain the same for the next generation. So for the next, let's say 25 years, a generation is 25 years.
Mhm.
But for the next 25 years, Nigeria is going to be the capital of poverty, and it will get worse. And at the same time, the richest people are getting richer. Dangote is getting richer. So I think when we talk about freedom, when we talk about communication, when we talk about the capacity, the ability of the population to express itself, if you
Mhm.
are poor, this is not your priority.
Yeah.
And if you are poor, you don't even have access. With such poor population, they don't even have access to education. How do you want them to express themselves? Because to use Twitter, you need to be able to speak English first.
Yeah.
And here,
Talking about English, the rate of the literacy rate in Nigeria is 59.6%,
mhm,
compared to Ghana is 76. And I know, like, facing the population, like educating 200 million people is such difficult, like having teachers, having schools all around. It takes time. But yeah, when you compare the adult literacy rate, Nigeria is a little bit inferior to Ghana. So just to make a little point before you continue, because you mentioned the education point.
yes, yes, and it shouldn't be, because
Yeah,
Nigeria is
exactly.
also the giant in terms of economy. This is the first economy in Africa, as Kobia has mentioned. So for me, it's even confusing how this country can be the first one, can be the first economy where most of its population is not even doesn't even have access to education. Most of people don't speak English. Most of people they cannot read and write. So this is also a point where it will affect the development, the economical development. If your population is not educated, this is going to stop. It's going to prevent you to develop. And the last point, okay, I will let then the last point is for Kovia. So go ahead, please.
Yeah, the last point concerns and of course you can share your idea because I don't have all the science with me. So it concerns the political class, which is more and more repressive. As we mentioned later on, the the freedom of speech. I don't know if you mentioned it. The freedom of speech, yeah, the rank of freedom of speech in Nigeria is 116, like 116 over 200. So that means that the government doesn't allow the people to express the idea in terms of political decency, political opinion. For example, the EndSource movement. The EndSource movement was a movement which was intended to diminish, to take back the power from some militias, which came in Nigeria in the end 1990s, and they took power, and they were like their aim was to put order in the streets. Yeah. So as the regime goes on and people don't need them anymore, they had to maintain their power by oppressing the people, by
Exactly.
by beating them up sometimes, and then sometimes taking money from them. And this is pure extortion.
And
Uh,
even killing them.
by killing them,
Xenophobia.
yes,
Yes.
of course, yeah, by even killing them. So this is it's like a power in a power within a power, a government within a
Mm.
government. So there shouldn't be such force that oppress people. And when the people try to defend itself, the government doesn't even hear what they have to say. Because I think the government goes hand in hand with that SARS movement. So the end SARS movement was legitimate to me. Uh, and I will let you talk about another thing, the politician, the businessman, Tinubu. I think you know more better than I do, so I'll let you express your, give us more details
Yes.
about that, please.
Yes. I mean, here in Nigeria,
Hmm.
we we have the feeling that the politicians are they. We don't even know if they are more businessmen than politicians because they are so rich. Just for information, the lawmakers in Nigeria are among the most paid in the world. So officially, their earnings a year is about $100,000. This is the official earning, the official
Incredible.
income, yes, of a lawmaker in Nigeria, and this is just the basic income. So we haven't added the allowance, the bonus, and of course everything that gets into corruption. So just to give you an idea of, I mean, the relationship that the politicians have with money in this country, and when you look deep down, most of them they have businesses, and I think the one that show it the best is Mr. Tinubu. So Mr. Tinubu is a former governor of Lagos. For who don't know Nigeria, so Nigeria it's a federal state. It's like the United States. So you have about 36 states, and Lagos is the richest state because all the economy is concentrated in Lagos. And we say that the GDP of Lagos alone is equal to the GDP of Cote d'Ivoire, of Senegal, of Gabon, and you can still put one or two other African countries in it. I'm sorry, I don't have the figures, but we will put it in the comment section. So
Hmm.
just to give you the importance of just Lagos alone. So people in Lagos say that Mr. Tinubu has Lagos in his pocket. So I'll let you understand. Someone that has Lagos, which is richer than many African countries in his pocket, that means he's super rich. That means he's close to be a billionaire, if he's not a billionaire. Of course, this doesn't appear. Mr. Tinubu doesn't appear in the Forbes ranking because it's not official. It's not official money, but he's very rich. He's still very, very powerful, and he becomes as rich because he was a governor, and many and also, I mean, if you refer to, I'm thinking about someone like the former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, who is also a big businessman. So we just have that feeling that they come, they come for them, for their own interest, and they get bigger for their own interest. But the country is
Hmm.
not getting bigger, the country is not getting better, and life is, I mean, living in Nigeria on a daily basis is quite tough, even if you have a financial okay situation. You have to manage so much challenges every day, like power. My husband said that, and I think this is most of people actually in Nigeria that say that you are your government on your own. Each household
Hmm.
is a government in Nigeria because yourself you have to manage how to produce your own power.
Electricity.
I'm telling you how to produce your own water. Education. The public school are not the best. So if you want your children to get the best education, you have to put them into private school. And private school in this country are damn expensive. Like, I mean, it's several $1,000s a year. I mean, from the early age, and even private university in Nigeria, they are close to the $10,000 a year. So everything is about money. Everything is around money. I mean, I've lived in other countries in Africa. I've traveled in many countries in Africa, but I think Nigeria is the country where money is so important. Money is so powerful and that is the reason we see this huge gap between the richest and the poorest people, and it's just getting wider and wider, and it's very scary. And I think what we have to be aware is that when people are getting poorer, it then affects the security. And this is also one of the reasons that we didn't even mention it. So let me mention it. This is also one of the reasons that Nigeria is a very dangerous country, because the gap between the rich and the poor is so huge. More than half of the population in Nigeria is that more than one half of the population is living with less than $5 a day. So all these people, they're human beings. They have to eat. Just eat. I'm just talking about eat and drink, the basic needs to survive. And they are not even able to get it on their own. That's why we have kidnapping. That's why we have hijacking. That's why, I mean, security is a huge, huge matter in Nigeria, what we don't have in the neighborhood countries. I mean, we don't hear about kidnapping in Benin Republic, in Togo, in Ghana, or Cote d'Ivoire. It's only in Nigeria that we think about it. It's only in Nigeria that people feel the need to live in gated estate because they are scared, because, I mean, for our security. And one more time, we are going back to the money issue. So, and I think this is all this aspect that Twitter has analyzed. So, you know, they put on the balance. Okay, we have on this side, we have all the good things that we have mentioned. Huge business-oriented population, huge, biggest economy, biggest population. The tycoons, they have the biggest tycoons in Africa, but on the other hand, no power. If you want to use Twitter, you need power. Exactly. I mean, you need power to charge your phone. So if you don't even have power, how are you going to use your phone? So yes, I think we can. I can't understand why the company has chosen Ghana over Nigeria.
And you know, there are some also. Twitter has some partnership that they made before even mentioning that, making that announcement. They have a partnership with Afrochilla. They have a partnership with Hack Lab, which is in Ghana. They have a partnership with Amref Health. It's a health organization in Kenya, and they also have a partnership with Money. Money is a mentally aware Nigeria initiative, which is based in Nigeria, of course. So they are trying to sprawl their influence, not in only in Ghana, but throughout the whole continent in Africa. And they need a place where it will be stabilized before doing so. And you know, the active users of Twitter is 330 million. Okay, compared to Facebook, this is lesser than Facebook. Yeah, and they generate a revenue of 3.7 billion. You know, so it's a huge economy that Africans can benefit from. Also, 91%, nearly 92% of people in Africa have Twitter. No, sorry, what am I saying? No, 59% of African users have Facebook accounts compared
Mhm.
to only 21% of people in Africa. So they need to come back and get the amount of of the gap and generates and to catch back their lateness as I can put it. So yeah, there's many work to do over there, and Twitter, as you mentioned it, needs some secured space, and above all, is going to create many is going to generate job. Okay, sorry, many jobs, and most of the jobs will be done remotely. So that's the point. So if Twitter, even if Twitter is in Ghana, they can a person in Nigeria can work from Nigeria and directly and direct it to into Ghana headquarters. So
Yes, as well.
it doesn't prevent anything. And also, yeah, concerning the corruption that you mentioned, that's a point that's really important when the company needs to come inside. I remember that one guy who came that which was mentioned who was mentioned in the newspapers. He's called Ibrahim Magu, and that guy was the high authority that was charged to struggle against corruption. And he himself was charged with corruption, and that was back in 2015. So he was obliged to destitute from his position and then leave the place. So it's very, very, when you live in such country which has so many corruption backgrounds, so many inequalities, it's very, very difficult to cop it up all of a sudden. There are many things to be done.
Yes, Nigeria still has a long, long, long way to go. And I think for me, the country is not just ready. So Chile has definitely made the best choice. Um, Ghana is just there are a lot of things about Ghana. I think is not. I mean, today we are focusing on Nigeria, and
Nigeria, of course, yeah.
the next time we will go through all the advantages, but also the bad. I mean, the drawbacks of Ghana, because Ghana is not perfect. Is Nigeria has is good points, but also is bad points. So I think we have been through everything. Kobia, do you have anything to add regarding this
Yeah,
topic?
I just wanted to add something that's important because when you go in a country, you need like brains, and the brains is based on how much university and how performant the university is. And when I look at the statistic, the best university in Nigeria, I thought was Lagos, but no, it's University of Ibadan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the rank they are 401 amongst the best universities in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe next week, no, not next 2 weeks, we will check. We will compare it to the best university
In Ghana.
in Ghana, in Accra, or I don't know. We will see which to compare. So yeah, maybe that can also come into account into consideration when you choose a country.
Okay, guys. We are about to land in Lagos, so we hope that you have learned. If you have any information to share with us, I mean, feel free to share it in the comment section, and we hope to see you on our next flight.
Hey, and then don't hesitate to comment and follow us on the social network and leave us your appreciation. See
Yes.
you.
See you. Bye bye. On
Bye
s'appelle sur
bye.
WhatsApp.
Yes.